Hi there and welcome to this Origami Design tutorial where we'll be talking about the toolbar, the inspector, layers and assets. In your top left hand corner you have the language button where you can toggle between the various languages. Right next to that you have orientation, so you can switch between horizontal and vertical like this. Next to that is the preview button, so if you connect your iPad to the same Wi-Fi network as your computer you can just export the package directly to your iPad without using a cable. You can add pages to your project. You can also make various templates and save them and share them with other people and load them into your project here under templates. Here under insert you have the various objects that you can use to create your project with. You have images, formations, which is frame by frame animation, video, audio, anchor, scrollable boxes, overlays, hotspots, web objects, and the toolbar button. Right now you can see I have selected the selector, which means I can select objects. You can also use the type tool to use it. You select it, you click on the screen and you drag out to wherever you want it. Over here on the right hand side you have various options for manipulating objects and setting alignments. Down here you see the name of whatever object you've chosen, which is either text1 or the page itself. This is more or less the page reference name or the reference name for the object. View group you can set for various objects to define how they will show up on the screen. You can define over here how either wide or how tall you want a object or a page to be. The X and Y coordinates show you where something is on the screen, which is quite handy when you're working with various objects. You may set the background colors for either objects like this or for the screen. Always make sure that you set a background color for your background on each and every page. You have a wide variety of swatches. You have the color slider, you have the color picker. You can also go up here under the small wheel and choose between RGB, hex and HSB, or you can go to the color wheel or color field, whatever suits your needs. Over here you can see the opacity. You can set the opacity for the whole box. You may also rotate it. Since I rotate it all the way down here, since I rotate it 90 degrees and it's so long. The button all over to the right, the interactive button, means that if it's checked like this, interactive, you may interact with it, touch it. When you deselect that, it automatically goes to no touch, which means that you cannot interact with it. Since this is a text object, you can still select it because selectable is checked off over here. You may also right-click on the toolbar to show only the text if you want that. You can also go down to customize toolbar and drag and drop the various objects that you want onto the screen. You can also always drag this bottom one over if you want to reset it. On the left hand side of your screen you have the inspector. The inspector is specific to each and every object that you select. So now I've selected the text object, which gives me a whole wide variety of options for manipulating text. If I choose the page, I get the page inspector. If I go back here and I choose a scrollable box, I get information for the scrollable box. So this is very important and we'll go more into detail on that under each object. Down here is the layers panel. Layers panel works like you're most likely used to from different other softwares. You can hide or show objects, and you can also drag and drop them on top of each other and to change orientation. You can or drag them inside of each other like I did now. You can hide and open to show what's inside. This is quite simple. Here you can choose what you want to see in your layers. You can either see all visible or invisible. You can input new objects, new view groups, new scroll groups. Over on assets, you see every single asset that you've imported into your project. So here you see all the images that I've imported and used on this screen. If I go over to page 2, you'll still see these because they're still in the same project, although I've not used them on this page. So you may drag and drop an image from the asset panel. This info button tells you how big it is. Also, if your assets have changed, this link might show up red, so you can go and right-click it and relink it. You may also delete and show in Finder and add other assets to this asset. We'll go more into widgets later in a specific tutorial. So that's more or less it for the toolbar, the layers, assets, and the inspector.